Um, all right, so welcome everyone. Thanks for coming to my paper presentation on One Does Not Simply Define Memes, a prototypical theory to understanding internet memes. So we're going to go through my introduction and background, quickly go over through my methods, my results, and then dive deep into my discussion. But first, a quote from someone I consider to be pretty much a god in philosophy, Ludwig Wittgenstein. So this whole project started because I took philosophy of language in the Netherlands, and I used his theories and applied them to my final paper about memes. And then it just kind of spiraled off into a whole senior thesis. But when he said this quote, I don't think he was really envisioning what memes could have been or are. But memes are powerful communication devices with cultural and political relevance, as well as psychological and philosophical implications on theories of human communication. But what are memes and why should we care? First, I'm going to start off with a question for you all. What is your definition of a good meme? And by good meme, I mean like the memest a meme could be.
I actually have no idea.
All right, don't answer my question then. Memes are relatable interpretations of the world using images, text, GIFs, videos, and other multimedia content. They are computer-mediated communication devices, meaning they occur solely on the internet. They are funny and they spread like wildfire. And they require a lot of context to understand. Why should we care about memes? So memes elicit reactions from us, like amusement, confusion, nostalgia, pretty much anything they want to elicit. They also can express an infinite number of conversational subjects, just like language can. Each meme template has a specific use that has been agreed upon by the internet community. And violations of this use are as obvious as violations of the cooperative principle of conversation talked about by Grace. Memes are cognitively demanding. They require attention, individual and collective memory recall, syntactic parsing, semantic understanding, and pragmatic interpretation. But even though we have to do all of this, memes are understood with little to no cognitive effort. My research question in this paper is, how are we able to recognize and understand memes? How do we take multimedia expressions and create meaning out of them? And are memes special from other kinds of digital content? So a little bit about the literature background. The word meme comes from Richard Dawkins' 1976 book, The Selfish Gene. The book describes cultural evolution with competition and natural selection at its center. So memes are units of information that are copied and replicated with slight variations, kind of like DNA. But unlike DNA, memes are replicated through imitation rather than genetically. Some examples of pre-internet memes are farming, religion, and fashion. So due to human cognitive limitations, we can't entertain every single meme. So each meme is actually in competition with other memes in order to be replicated and varied. Fun fact, the sentence, the word meme comes from Richard Dawkins' 1976 book, The Selfish Gene, is a meme in itself because I have never written or read any meme literature that doesn't include some kind of variation of that sentence. Ruth Millikan and Daniel Dennett are two philosophers that have tested memes. Millikan is a philosopher of biology that claims that any mechanism we have, whether it be a heart or a neural circuit or the ability to reproduce memes, we have because in our evolutionary history, those were the mechanisms that helped our ancestors survive and reproduce. But memes themselves have their own purpose for what they are being selected for. So they can kind of be broken down into three different categories. The first is helpful memes. Helpful memes coincide with the evolutionary purpose of the mechanism producing it, so basically us. Language is an example of a helpful meme. When a child is learning a language, it usually learns whatever its peers, parents, teachers, the linguistic community is using. But language also helps us build tools, it helps us warn others of danger, it helps us pick the right mate. So it's been really influential in our evolutionary history. The second type of meme is a dangerous meme. So Daniel Dennett talks about dangerous memes, and these are ideas that go against our evolutionary need to produce by basically hijacking the mechanism. So these are ideas of God, country, duty, freedom, and these are dangerous because humans basically go to war for them and limit our ability to survive and reproduce, which is our evolutionary purpose. Then there are meh memes. These are memes that don't help us, our evolution, but they don't hurt us either. So earworms, or songs that get stuck in your head, are a great example of ineffective memes because they have the ability to reproduce themselves in your head, but they don't really hurt or help your evolution either. So with the development of new tools, the development of new tools helps the creation and proliferation of new memes. And nothing has been more powerful in creating and proliferating memes quite like the internet. The first internet meme was an observation of online chat room behavior called Godwin's Law. And Mike Godwin from Wired magazine noticed that for any internet discussion, the longer it went, the higher the probability of someone's ideas gets compared to Nazism. So that became known as Godwin's Law. Then memes started to become a handful of funny images with accompanying text called macros. And these macros pretty much changed the word of the meaning of the word meme, and it began to take a life of its own. So as the internet evolves, so do the memes. Without a clear definition of what a meme is or is not, how can we tell whether something is a meme or not? That's where Ludwig Wittgenstein comes in. So Wittgenstein was a 20th century Austrian philosopher. He was from a logical positivism background. And the logical positivists were basically these philosophers in Vienna that believed if any problem that couldn't be solved with logical analysis was basically not a problem worth solving at all. So in that spirit, he wrote this book, the Tractatus Logico Philosophicus, and basically revolutionized the theory of the philosophy of language with his theory of picturing. He was satisfied with himself for a couple of years. He quit philosophy and did normal things like building a house from scratch. And then he was like, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. So he went back to philosophy and he wrote his second book, Philosophical Investigations. And the main thesis from Philosophical Investigations is that word meaning comes from how the linguistic community is using the word instead of a logical and succinct definition of the word. And in this book, there are two themes that can be applied to memes. The first is that of family resemblance. So things that seem to have, family resemblance says that things that seem to have one essential feature are actually a set of overlapping similar features. And one does not simply define words like meme because there is no one common feature underlying all memes. We recognize memes by their similar features to previous things that we as a linguistic community have called memes. The second is that of language games. So every interaction we have with each other is actually a language game that we play. Telling a joke is one language game, and defending a thesis is a different language game. And like games, language requires an audience and a set of rules. So memes are no different from language games, but two memes that can be about the same topic can have very different audience and rule knowledge requirements. So here's an example. This is an example of a boardroom suggestion meeting. This is a typical instance of that meme. So there are there's a boss and there are three workers, and the third worker is always the controversial one, so he gets thrown out of the window. Anyone with a pretty basic idea of what a meme or comics are can pretty much understand what's going on. This is about the toilet paper crisis during the coronavirus. And the third coworker suggests they open a second register, which angers the boss and he gets thrown out of the window. Now imagine that you have a veil of ignorance and you've never seen this meme before, and you come across this meme. You really would not understand anything that's going on because it just doesn't make sense. But if you've seen the previous meme before, you can understand that because of coronavirus, everyone is working at home, so there is no boardroom suggestion meeting and there is no one being thrown out of the window. But in order to get the second meme, you have to first have seen the first meme. So that leads me to Eleanor Rush's prototype theory. When categorizing concepts, we create a prototypical instance of that concept, and we compare every other instance with a list of features in that prototypical example. So to understand a specific meme, one has to be introduced to multiple instances of memes so that similar features can start to become prominent. Another theory that applies to memes is speech act theory. Speech act theory is a theory under pragmatics. Pragmatics is the study of language and use and context. So memes are complicated signs with several inferential hoops. They can say things without using words and are heavily dependent on context. Memes are also speech acts in that they have a perlocutionary act of eliciting a reaction from the interpreter and gaining social approval for the speaker on social media. And a perlocutionary act is basically an effect on the listener. There's this paper called Speaking For, Speaking With, and Shutting Up by Mark Lance and Rebecca Colclaw, and they talk about different forms of advocacy for people who have been, for victims of police brutality. And in their thesis, they say that two people can say the exact same thing and it will have different forces and effects. So let's say a white male academic advocate can say the same thing as the victim of the crime, and it will, the advocate would be like a more trustworthy source and they will be more listened to than someone who is a victim of it. So that doesn't seem related to memes, but you can actually take 3 things from that paper and apply them to memes. The first is that posting a meme on the internet is an act of engaging with the internet community as a worthy interlocutor. When someone is making a meme and posting it on the internet, they're recognizing the internet community as someone they want to talk about this issue with. Second, the person creating or sharing the meme is an important factor. So the internet, and more specifically memes, are a platform that is pretty much created for the everyday person. You don't need to own a TV channel or a newspaper or a media company in order to say something using memes. So when that platform is sort of appropriated and abused by, let's say, advertisers or a politician, it just doesn't feel right. It feels different than an everyday person making a meme about something. The third is that making and sharing a meme is setting a conversational agenda. This can be seen in very controversial memes like Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, or even World War III memes. You're saying that this is an important topic that I want to talk about. Other people might be ignoring it, but I'm making a meme so that we can talk about it as an internet community. So taking all of those, you can infer that with so many factors that go into interpreting a single meme, there has to be individual differences in what people consider to be a meme or not a meme. Age, life experiences, languages spoken, personal interests can affect how people interpret memes. But if the prototype theory of understanding memes is true, then internet images with more prominent features of a typical meme will have more people agree on whether they are memes or not. Internet memes with little to no features of a typical meme will have more people disagree on whether they are memes or not. Finally, internet images that blur the boundaries of typical meme features will split the intuitions of people on whether they are memes or not. So my study had 85 participants that received no financial or academic credit for their participation. They only had fun. So they were from all over the US, Asia, and Europe, but most were located in California or the Netherlands. Their age range was 18 to 53 years old, and the average age of the participant was around 22 years old. Participants were active on 2 or 3 social media accounts on average, with Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat being the most popular. So I first created a Google Form survey and distributed it on my Facebook account and several meme-based groups on Facebook. I did this because I wanted participants who already had a prototypical idea of what memes are. So the participants were asked to evaluate 28 randomized internet images and asked if they were memes, if they would share them, and if they were funny. I collected participants' demographics like age, country of origin, and social media accounts. And I also asked their personal definitions of a meme and how familiar they were with memes. I coded their answers into Google Sheets, and I compared their intuitive definition to a list of 8 keyword features, including humor, virality, images, video GIFs, shared internet or social media, caption or text, and relatability or context. And I called those concept features. Then I ran a correlational study between the demographics data and the meme familiarity and the concept features. And I also ran a correlational study to their answers on the internet images. Oopsie. So my results. The images pretty much broke down into 3 different categories. 9 images were definitely memes, with 80% of the participants agreeing they were memes. 7 images were definitely not memes, with 80% of the participants agreeing they were not memes. Then there were the potential memes. So 3 images leaned towards being memes, with at least 60% saying they were. 4 leaned away from being memes, with 60% saying they are not. And there were 5 images that pretty much split the intuitions 50-50. So here are the image evaluation correlations. And the ones I want to talk about are highlighted in yellow. So images that were considered memes were more likely to be shared. There was a moderate positive correlation between the images that were considered to be shared. Images that were considered memes had a strong positive correlation with images that were funny and a strong negative correlation with images that were not funny. So images that were not considered meme had a moderate positive correlation with images that were not considered to be shared, and a strong positive correlation with images that were not funny, and a strong negative correlation with images that were funny. Finally, images that were considered funny had a strong positive correlation with images that were likely to be shared. Then there are my demographic correlations. Some were pretty simple, like there was a weak negative correlation between age and the number of social media accounts you had, and age and how familiar you were with memes. But what's really interesting is that the number of concept features in your intuitive definition actually went down with the number of social media accounts you had, and as well as how familiar you were with memes. So that was a pretty interesting result I got. Okay, finally, we're gonna go to the section you've been waiting for, the memes. So here is the first meme, and 97.6% agreed that this image was a meme. So this is a meme about the royal family, which makes sense because that is public knowledge and pretty much everyone knows what's going on with that family. It uses classic meme syntax, using colons to attribute whatever is coming next to the subject before it. And the image is a screenshot from Drake and Josh, which includes their mischievous sister, Megan. The image is actually taken out of context of that TV show, and the text creates a new context which it would make sense in. So unlike meme templates like blinking white guy or any other meme templates, this image, it only makes sense in this specific context. So this is the next meme, and this is also not a typical meme because it needs several levels of interpretation. So first, you have to know about the Internet Explorer meme, the meme that internet is super, super slow. And then there is the Area 51 meme, which happened back in September 2019. So the Area 51 meme died after the actual event happened, but this meme revives it in a different context that makes sense. This shows that memes can be mixed and matched with other memes to create a sort of Frankenstein creation. This meme will always be relevant because now, since Internet Explorer is slow, the joke will always be timeless. All right, so this is a meme gone wrong, and honestly, I'm pretty surprised it even made it into the definitely meme section. So after this post, the creator explains that they accidentally put the wrong picture for their meme, but the participants didn't know that. They only saw this meme. So even though it has no semantic meaning, it suggests, you can see that it follows the syntactic structure of a typical meme. There is a text, and then there is an image, which is supposed to be the punchline. So since 80% of the people said this is a meme, it suggests that we recognize the structure of a meme before we even try to gain meaning from it. So even if there is no meaning, people would rather think that they're just not part of the in-group or they just don't get it, instead of assuming it's not a meme at all. All right, so here is an image that 97.6% disagreed was a meme. So this has a lot of features similar to memes. It occurs on the internet, and it also has the image to text combo, and the image is directly related to the text. But it's meant to inspire you, not to amuse or make you laugh. It lacks too many features of a meme to be considered one. So this is another type of image commonly found on social media. At 83.5% disagreed that it was a meme. So these images are speech acts as well, but instead of performatives, they are requests. So it asks the user to do something, like typecasting the poster of the image as a Disney princess. There are many variations of this image, making it a meme in the evolutionary sense, but not a meme in the internet sense. Also, what's really interesting about this image is that only 8.3% would share this image. One reason is that sharing this is a face-threatening act. It is a vulnerable act to ask your followers to cast you as a Disney princess, because you could get an answer that you don't like, or even worse, no one will respond, and you would look like a fool for posting it in the first place. So here's another meme that I showed people, and 97.6% disagreed that it was a meme. So this is the cool S, or whatever people tend to call it, and people actually learn how to draw this in middle school or elementary school, and it's learned outside of the internet. So this is a true cultural meme because it is a unit of information passed down from child to child. But apparently it is definitely not an internet meme. So looking at the things that made images memes or not memes, we can kind of see what you need for something to be a meme. First, it has to have the right intent. Memes should not be meaningless or have any other intention of amusing the interpreter. The second is context creation. Memes take images or videos out of context and use text to create a new context around them. The third is that they're multimedia. Typical memes include at least 2 different forms of expression, usually text and images that are related to each other. Then you have to have the right structure. So memes have a certain structure to them where a typical meme uses the image as the punchline and uses the text to set up the premises. Memes should occur solely on the internet. Cultural memes are not automatically internet memes. Finally, multimedia images that are not funny are not considered memes even if they have the text image combo. So that is a key feature of memes. So now we're entering the world of potential memes. All right, the first potential meme we have is, oh man, my audio got ruined. Anyway, so this is an image for a screenshot of Rick Astley's music video. I'm so sad that the audio didn't play. I was gonna Rickroll you, but there was no audio in the study also. So the act of Rickrolling is one of the internet's oldest memes going back to the late 2000s. So evolutionary memes include acts like farming, but apparently internet memes can also be acts. The timing, delivery, and context is very important for this meme to be successful. It has to be unexpected or it doesn't work. So this image split the intuitions of the participants because some were judging the act of Rickrolling itself, while some were judging the image that was shown to them. So this meme is super old, but in the right context, it can be revived just as the Area 51 meme. So this was the second potential meme, and this meme leaned away from, this image leaned away from being a meme. This is a text-only math joke, and it follows Wittgenstein's rule of language games because it requires the right audience and the right background knowledge. You need to know some math in order to understand this joke. Also, it does not include multimedia and typical meme structure, even though it is amusing and a joke. And I think that's why it leaned away from being a meme. Ooh. So this was so close to being considered a meme, literally 0.2% off, but it just didn't make the cut. But this really demonstrates why images are a crucial part of recognizing a meme. This is an absurd meme. It's not meant to be relatable. But if there was no picture, it would have been just as more absurd and less of a meme. I think the only reason this didn't make it as a full meme was that it just blends the boundaries between the right intent. It's just not as relatable or as agreeable as typical memes. All right, so this is another text-only image, but this one leaned towards being a meme. So this was a tweet made in early January, around the time Qasem Soleimani was killed by the US government. And this tweet sets a conversational agenda talking about the assassination in a clever and amusing way. So memes are often used as a medium to joke about stressful things that are happening in the world. This can be seen with the World War III memes in January, the Australian fire memes, sorry Tenzin, in February, coronavirus memes in March, UFO memes in April, and more recently, murder hornet memes. All right. So this simple tweet is actually a complicated joke. And in order to get it, participants must first understand what the tweet is saying. Some didn't understand what MFS abbreviation means, so that may have been one hinder or like an obstacle in understanding. But the most important part is that they must notice whose Twitter account this is. This Twitter account is registered to the, oh no. Oh, never mind. Yeah, so this account is registered to Archduke Ferdinand, which was shot and he started a world war. So if they don't see that this Twitter account is registered to him, the whole joke is pointless. All right, so this is a picture of Ted Cruz on a farm. And this originally occurred on Twitter with a caption he wrote himself. Wow, a cow made of butter. My girls love it. In fact, the first sentence Caroline ever said was, I like butter. But the participants did not get to see the text, only the image taken out of context. So 68.2% disagreed that this was a meme, and it leaned away from being a meme. But if the participants had seen the caption Ted Cruz himself wrote, we would predict that more people would consider it to be a meme. All right, so this is a multimedia image occurring on the internet with traditional top text and bottom text format of macro memes, and it even uses the same font as typical macro memes. But 69.4% disagreed that this was a meme, and it's because it doesn't have the right intent. It's made to inspire instead of making people laugh. Compared to the previous example of an inspirational quote, I think the reason why this made it into potential memes was because the structure was there. It looks like a macro meme, but it's just not funny. It's not, the intent is not there. All right, so this was the most interesting case for me. This was a billboard advertisement on the side of the road taking advantage of memes. And this was a really interesting case because it breaks several features of memes. First, the intent is not to amuse you, but to convince you to download the app HipChat. It also does not occur on the internet, and it's not very funny or relatable either, at least in my opinion. Under the prototype theory, this should not have been considered a meme, but only 58.8% disagreed, so it split the intuitions of the participants. So I consider this an outlier in 28 of the images because people could not really agree on whether this was a meme or not. All right, we're in the conclusion stage. So the prototypical theory of concept claims that humans understand concepts by creating prototypes with a list of features. The prototype is compared with each instance of an object to see whether that object fits in with a concept or not. This study shows that we understand memes using a prototypical concept of memes in mind. If we see an image on the internet occurring on a social media platform with an intent to amuse us, uses both text and a related image, and needs context for interpretation, it's most likely a meme. Images that do not include most of these features are automatically disqualified as not memes. But there is a spectrum of internet images where we're not really sure if they are memes or not. If images were easily agreed upon as memes or not memes, there would be a necessary and sufficient definition of what memes are. But there isn't. There is a lot of disagreement when memes blur the lines or they have one feature missing amongst people, saying that we have a prototypical theory of memes when we're looking at them. So human communication co-evolves alongside the tools we have invented. Memes are novel communication devices, but they only take advantage of the internet to fulfill our basic needs for connection, social approval, and laughter. The academic study of memes is only beginning. In 100 years, we'll have meme historians that are tracking both our digital and historical evolution. But for right now, the next step in the prototypical theory of memes is measuring reaction times. So doing the same study, but measuring the time it takes for participants to decide whether something is a meme or not. The idea is that potential memes should have a slower reaction time compared to memes and not memes. That's because you really have to decide, is this enough to be a meme? Is this close enough to our prototypical idea to become a meme? So that should take a slower time, a longer time to decide that. Another interesting arena is the political science of memes. So fun fact, in 2016, 38% of Floridan voters thought Ted Cruz might be the Zodiac killer. So memes have a real world effect, and most of it is through politics. So it would be really interesting to see political scientists study memes and how they influence elections and all of these other things. But in the arena of cognitive science, we can use memes to study attention, memory, linguistics, human-computer interaction, social psychology. The list is pretty much endless. So we're going to start with a quote and we're going to end with a quote. If people never did silly things, nothing intelligent would ever get done. Memes are these silly things that we post on the internet, but they are also powerful communication devices, and we need to start studying them academically because memes are here and they're built to last well into the future. That's it.
That was very good.
Thank you.
That was super cool.
Thanks.